Hi, folks. So, I'm doing my best with the light here, but I'm here to talk about the full moon in Capricorn coming up. Um, so the full moon is happening in Capricorn, and I'll tell you the details in a minute, but straight away I was hearing bunions. I have no idea where this is gonna go, okay? I've got my aspects written down, but bunions, I think they're funny things on your feet. I'm sure spirit will reveal that in a minute. So we are in chaotic times. I just want to say that. Like, I do not watch the news, but I can see and feel the energy in the collective. And more than anything, we need to double down on our spiritual practices, because when there is chaos and there is turmoil, particularly the sensitive souls amongst us, we feel it, right? We feel the pain of the world, and it's not yours to carry. I want to say that it is not yours to carry. And I know it can feel intense at times, and I honor that, and I feel you, and I know that. But doubling down on your spiritual practices, whether that's being in nature, that massively helps me. Being in nature, meditating, those things that bring you back to a space of regulation and calm. This is what we need to do right now. So, diving into the full moon. It's happening in Capricorn, which is a cardinal earth sign. So it's a practical energy, and it's happening at 18 degrees and 50 seconds at 9:37 p.m. GMT time. So that's tomorrow night on the 10th of July. I'm rolling with this light because I want to record this now because I can't do it in the morning. So cardinal is an initiating energy. It is grounded, rooted into the earth. Okay. It's like, I see the mountain, I see the vision. How can I move towards that mountain? And, anything that is holding you back from the goal or the direction or the desire that you're moving towards, anything that is not centered in love, anything that not is not embodied in yourself will fall away, meaning it's going to surface at this full moon. Full moons bring things up to the surface. Anything we've been avoiding or hiding or suppressing, it comes up at a full moon. And that's why I always feel like full moons are catalysts to clear away and compost the old so that we can actually step into that magic and give our magic. Um, at a brighter, higher frequency. So that Capricorn Cancer axis we're on is about following your vocational path. That's the Capricorn, taking the steps to move towards that vision, that dream you have for your life, and also tending to your home life. Um, because the home life is the Cancer, the crab that carries a shell on its back. And actually, as I was reading something the other day, apparently, if you look at a crab and its shell, it's also similar to a scarab beetle and a tortoise. And what they all have in common is that these hard shells, but they're carrying their home on their back. So there's a sense of security and need for nurturing our soul. What do we need on a soul level in our physical home environment, but out in the world to actually feel safe? So we're on that axis, and if we ignore one, the seesaw is going to be unbalanced, right? So, if you've been too far into your career, vocation, how can you put a bit of energy into your soul and your home, family life? Because if we abandon one or the other, then we can go, sometimes I see it myself, go too much into the masculine of like, I'm moving up the mountain, and then I forget to slow down. So this is a time to also slow down, take a pause, and breathe. I just went out for a nature walk. That was such a beautiful time actually of night. It's very quiet. There's no one around, and I was walking through the forest and just taking it all in. Such a tonic for the soul. So, and then at this full moon, we have Uranus and Venus conjunct, which it's a dreamy energy. It's Uranus allows us to really break free in a radical, unexpected ways. So there may be something in your life that, okay, this is because Venus is in Gemini. So this is connected to something we value that we've learned. Maybe it's a whole body of work. Maybe it's you practice astrology or into Buddhism, philosophy, whatever it is. It's like, how can you open up to a radical way of being, a more radical way of being that's more deeply rooted in those values of those things, of that knowledge that you have? And it's like, how can you step forwards and teach that? Venus in Gemini is about teaching, is about sharing the wisdom, being the teacher. How can you step into that? And Pluto's in a trine with that Uranus Venus conjunction. So there again at this full moon, things are brought to the surface. There may also be grief that is surfacing. Old grief. It could be getting from like COVID times, because I know that was a big thing that we all went through that no one had ever experienced. So it may be the trauma or grief of that time that is surfacing, and it needs to be transmuted into something else, because these emotions like grief, like fear, like anger need to move through us. And it's okay to feel those things. That's really the path. It's not about bypassing or brushing under the carpet, allowing those emotions to surface, the shadows to surface, and almost transmuting them into something creative. Maybe it's you're writing about that grief or that fear that is surfacing. That's what it feels like. And expressing our anger in healthy ways. Find an outlet for it, whether that's writing, painting, moving. Move that energy through your body, because when it becomes stuck, that's how I believe illness and disease happens in the body, when the emotions are stuck in our energy, and then we get ill. So make sure you're moving that. Um, and almost like this Uranian energy is like almost truths waking us up, deeper truths. So maybe you've been studying, I keep going back to Buddhism. Say you've been studying Buddhism, and there's like a deeper truth that wants to emerge at this full moon for you. Maybe there's something you didn't quite see. And this full moon is really shining a light on something that you never grasped. And it's like, right, here's the vision, here's the almost like seed. He's the catalyst for that awareness. And a really nice aspect as well, we've got the moon is in a square to Mars. So they're very different energies, but when the moon is in a trine with Mars, it's like our motivation, our fiery energy is in alignment with our emotions. So it's like we can take that fiery action, and it's going to be really aligned with what we need on an emotional level. So those actions can support our emotional worlds, our emotional state, if you like. So it's like taking heart-centered motivations. What are those heart-centered motivations that you feel inspired to take, right? Because they're in you for a reason. The reason your heart is going, "Oh, I wanna do this," is there's a part of you that knows that is right. Okay, so listening, tuning in, following that impulse. Um, and then the North Node is in a trine with the Sun. So this is really shining a light on our soul path. And by the way, when I say soul path, it's like the direction we're meant to be heading in this life. And that's not always easy because the North Node actually represents what we are meant to be moving towards. But it's like new territory for us. So whereas the South Node in the chart is like the skills and talents we've come into this life with, the North Node are the things that like the challenges and what we need to lean into, achieve self mastery. But that self mastery means that we've got to overcome things that are holding us back. And this alludes, connects with compassion, this whole collective energy of we need more compassion, particularly in the world right now. We need more compassion. We also need to be more compassionate with ourselves because that is when the healing happens. More compassion is like that, the vision, your path will be illuminated the more compassion you can have. That's what I'm hearing. Um, yeah, excited. It feels really expansive. It feels like we can remove the guard, take down the guard itself, the walls that we've built to protect ourselves, to actually, shine our light and be seen in that, like feel safe in ourselves, feel safe in our bodies, that is where real safety comes from. It doesn't come from the outside world, from external validation, from one more thing. It comes from looking inwards. And of course, if you want to dive deeper, you can book an astrology reading with me. I always put the details in the description below this video, so do reach out. And then we've got Uranus, Venus. That Venus conjunction is in a square with Mars, so that's a little bit tricky because this beautiful Venusian feminine energy square the Mars. It's like our masculine and feminine are having a bit of a tug of war. It's like, oh, I want to flow. I want to be, learning and integrating my knowledge. And it's like Mars is like, right, but what are you actioning? How are you moving forwards with that? So we just need to be mindful of that we're not too much in all systems go, nitpicky on all the things, like not taking too much action and then forgetting to flow and be in the receptive space that we also need to be in to birth our creations, right? Um, and then also interestingly, Pluto is in a trine with the Saturn Neptune conjunction. So you may know if you follow my channel, I think I've talked about it before, but um, Neptune shifted into Aries, which is massive, and Saturn. The outer planets are really doing their thing this year. And if you want more info on that, go watch the video, the yearly forecast I did on this channel. That will give you more info about that. But it's like we have to embody the warrior spirit. It can be literal disillusionment with war, and that is actually what is happening in the world. It is crazy. Um, but that Pluto sextile, that aspect it's harmonious again. It's like, okay, we might have this war within ourselves, this sort of part of us that wants to be really self-destructive and destroy things and be in chaos, but also those moments of chaos and wanting to self-destruct are catalysts for us to step into our power, for us to reclaim who we truly are at soul level, who we truly are, like beyond the facades, beyond the conditionings of who the world told us we were. It's like this is this is who I am in my truth. So it's kind of like helping us shed those facades and that bullshit that we're trying to hide behind and go, okay, well, this is the truth. This is who you really are beneath all those layers. Um, and that darkness can be transmuted into something very fertile, very deep and true and embodied, right? Which speaks to this Pluto energy. And that will really actually help us assert more boundaries. So, what are the boundaries you need to put in place that will support that fertile soil that you're seeding? Meaning, like, what boundaries do you need to live a life that feels you, that is the true soul of you? What do you need? What are those boundaries? What are the structures that help you in that area? I would love to know. Um, yeah, so there's a real like watery feel at this full moon, and the bunions. I'm not quite sure. Where is that going? Bunions, bunions. It feels like layers being stripped. How to search it. Bunions are bony bumps that form at the base of the big toe. Ah, okay. I feel like that's symbolism. I mentioned bunions at the beginning, so if you're going, why am I talking about bunions? Um, I just heard the word bunions, and it's about okay, so it's a metaphor for not being so rigid. So it's like if you feel like you know the direction you're heading in, like you're going up that mountain and you're like, right, that's the way I need to do, that's how I need to get there. This is the how, these are the steps I need to take. It's actually a sign to step back and actually go, okay, am I making it more difficult for myself? Like, how can I be more receptive um, and lean back? Where am I getting too rigid with that so called plan? Because it's great to have a plan, but you also need to be fluid. It's like, right, what is the guidance? Where is my soul nudging me next? So it's almost like asking us to take a step back and go, okay, what is the small next step I can take so that I can create the structure that I desire, that safety. So that's why bunions came in. Oh gosh. Well, let me know. I'd love to hear what you are releasing at this full moon. What is surfacing for you? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, you can reach out if you want to go deeper and explore your birth chart to get more clarity on your soul path and how you can embody your magic and step into your truth and be more rooted in who you truly are, because that's what this work is all about. So I'm sending you full moon blessings, and I hope that all the things that you have planted at the new moon are starting to seed. You're starting to see things coming into fruition. And I send so much love to you all. Thanks for watching.